everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we'd do another 2-page Easter scrapbook layout. The paper that I'm using for today is from scrapbook.com. Actually have a couple different papers. The first one, which is the background that I'm using, it's called Border Strips from Echo Park. The next one is also from Echo Park and it's called Unicorn Balloons. And the last one is from Simple Stories, So Happy Together, and it's called My Squad. For the base of my paper, it does measure 11.5 by 11.5, and I inked my edges with my Stampin' Up! Early Espresso. Next, I do have two border pieces. They're both Googled images that I brought down to my silhouette and trace. If anybody's interested, I do have a tutorial on how I take images from Google in order to trace them. For this border, I've actually been using it quite often actually. It does measure 11.5 by 2 1/4. And for my next piece, it measures 11.5 by 3/8. And I'll go ahead and glue it down with my zip dry. Now I know I recently posted an Easter layout, but this is actually going to be a gift. I'm going to go ahead and gift it to my niece / goddaughter. I really don't know what's going to happen for Easter. Probably nothing, since we're all unable to leave our houses. But she doesn't live too far, and we have all the, all the things we need to give her. We already have her eggs and stuff, so I thought maybe I could go ahead and give her a little something extra, since I really won't be able to spend the day with her. Maybe, this cute little layout. Next, I'll go ahead and back this on a piece of 12 by 12 craft cardstock paper. And for my next page, I actually already have it ready. To start off, I do have 3 photo frames. For my frame itself is actually a Googled image that I brought onto my silhouette and trace. Now this frame, I recently used it on my boy layout, and it's just a Googled image that I brought onto my silhouette and trace. My frame measures 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. For the inside, the purple cardstock measures 4 inches by 4 1/4, and I did internal offset on my silhouette. And now I do have a little journaling card that I found in my stash, so I decided to go ahead and use it since it has a cute little bunny. Now for the files that I'm using for today, there's actually quite a few of them. They're from different sites, so go ahead and leave the information on the description down below. Now for my title, I actually don't remember where I got it from because I got it back in January, so go ahead and try to look to see if I could find it. It's really a beautiful title. It does read spring. It measures 2 3/8 by 6 inches. So I try to figure out where I got it from just in case anybody's interested. And I did pop it up on 1 thickness of foam tape. Next, I do have my tree. It does measure 6 3/4 by 8 5/8. For this tree, it's actually from Treasure Box Designs, though I recently checked. It's the same tree I used for my recent boy layout as well. The only thing, this tree is no longer available. I'm not sure why, because I bought this file about a year ago. It actually came with a tree house, and it had a little girl on top of the tree house. But I'm not sure why it's no longer available, but it is what it is. And here I did use my stickles. Next, from Miss Kate Cuttables, I do have my bird and little frog. For the bird, it measures 6 7/8 by 3 1/8. For the frog, it measures 1 1/8 by 1 1/2. And on here I did use liquid pearls. And for the bird, I did pop it up between the layers just to give it a bit of dimension. And I decided to add little paper flowers. They are from Hobby Lobby Paper Studio brand. Next, I do have my little car. For this one's actually from Cuddly Cute Designs. I think it was a recent file they recently added to the website, and I had posted this. I posted this one on my Snapchat, and I got a lot of replies on this one. A lot of you guys really liked it. I'm glad. It does measure 5 1/2 by 5 5/8. For the back, I did pop it up with 1 thickness of foam tape, and I also used little paper flowers here. And on my sign right here, carrots, I also popped it up on 1 thickness of foam tape. And I'll bring it down here. Next, I do have my cute little bunny. She does measure 4 1/4 by 4 7/8. And on her little mouth, I did pop it up with 1 thickness of foam tape. And on her little, I decided to go ahead and add little whiskers on her as well, just like I did on my previous video. This idea comes from Connie from Prairie Paper Crafts. If anybody's interested, I really recommend her channel. Now, I was recently asked when I posted this, when I was working on this file on my Snapchat, in regards to if I would do like a tutorial from beginning to end of me paper piecing. I'm actually not really comfortable doing a tutorial. I honestly don't think I would be good at it. But if anybody's interested, because I know I've been asked multiple times, I really recommend Connie from, like I said, Prairie Paper Crafts. She's the one I actually learned how to paper piece from, and she does tutorials on inking. She gives you detailed information, and I just really recommend her channel for anybody's interested. I'll go ahead and leave her information on the description down below. Just in case anybody's interested. For her, I'll go ahead and put her down here, and I also decided to use Nuvo drops for her little flower. How's everybody doing being, for those of you who are quarantined in your homes? I know on April the 1st, which today is Friday, April 3rd, on the 1st of April, I actually had a huge scare. On Wednesday, it had been 13 days since we had been home, myself and the kids. We hadn't left the house in 13 days. And then I get a random knock on the house, and I opened one of my doors, and it's the gas company telling me that I had to, there was a leak in the gas apparently, and I had to leave the house. And of course I was a little bit skeptical. I was scared. I asked more information, and I told the guy that I had to confirm what he was telling me before I left the house. And my kids they had just fallen asleep. So I was really scared because I didn't know who the guy was, the man was, and I had to leave my house. And my husband wasn't home. He was actually out of town on business. So I was really, really scared. So I called them, and I actually caught him right before he was going to go into an important business meeting. And of course, he freaked out. He told me to get more information, and he was gonna go ahead and call himself before we went outside. But to cut the story short, we had to leave the house. They told me it could take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, if not more, before we were able to come back. And I told the man, "Are you kidding me? I have 2 little ones. We're not even supposed to be outside. What am I supposed to do?" And you could tell he felt bad for me, but he needed me out of the house. So I ended up taking the kids to McDonald's to do something. And then after that, I just literally had to wait. This was early, and I wasn't able to come back to my house till after 6. And it's really a horrible situation for just anybody, because I couldn't even go to my mother's house because we're not really allowed to visit anybody or even relatives, because you don't really know what's going on. And I was also afraid to go to my mother's house because, unfortunately, last Friday we had a huge scare. My mother presented with all the symptoms for the coronavirus, and so we had to wait. She's feeling better now. It turns out she didn't have it, but she was never actually tested. We called the emergency room to see what we should do, and they wanted us to monitor her, check her temperature every so often, and then if it continued to then go ahead and take her to the emergency room. But she's feeling better now. But of course, we want to be safe rather than sorry, so I'm staying away. But it was a horrible day, a horrible April Fool's Day. Not that it was a joke or anything, but I had to be outside with the kids, and my son, as most of you know, is misunderstood, so he cried the entire time we were waiting in the car. It was just not nice. And then my husband, he couldn't do anything since he was away at business. But he was freaking out. He was freaking me out because we actually haven't left the house in a while, because he won't let us, since he's constantly having just meetings with Homeland Security. He knows a little bit more information about what's going on out there, and he just doesn't want us to be outside. Let me just say, it was a horrible day, but everything got fixed. Thankfully, it was the gas company, not some random person who had ill intentions. But it was a scary day for me. I also have some Easter eggs that I cut out. They measure 7/8 by 3/4, and I'm just going to. I just did 3 little colors. So yeah, that was my recent experience. And it was really hard because this whole time we've been home, I've been explaining, the kids, they don't really understand what's going on. My daughter's 5, soon to turn 6 this month. And I kept telling her that, outside is sick. We can't go outside because outside is sick, school is sick, Disneyland is sick. So when we were leaving the house, she was crying because she kept telling me, no mama, outside is sick, no outside. And I had to wake them up. We all put on masks, gloves, and went to McDonald's. And from Hobby Lobby, I do have these paper flowers. They're Paper Studio brand. So I thought I might add them. I'm not too sure. I've actually had these paper flowers for a while, and I kept forgetting about them. Let me see. Oh, that looks kind of cute. Maybe one over here. I think 2 would be fine. I just don't want to overdo it. And there you have it. This is my 2-page Easter layout. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye for now.